This is Maximilian. Maximilian recently started studying at the University of St. Gallen and is fascinated by the amount of different student associations the university has to offer. One association that excites him especially is TART, the club for students interested in startups and innovation. Maximilian would love to launch a startup of his own, but the disruptive innovation he needs remains elusive. In his first Lernphase, Maximilian notices how many of his friends consume energy drinks in order to boost their attention spans. They all have to make the arduous trip to the St. Gallen supermarket in order to buy them though. This is when an idea comes to Maximilian's mind. What if he decided to sell the energy drinks on campus, saving his co-students valuable learning time? Maybe this is the disruptive idea he was looking for so long. 2 years later, Maximilian's business has become more successful than he could ever have hoped for in his wildest dreams. Due to this success though, Maximilian is forced to implement a professional logistics management system. One problem he has faced is finding out when to reorder stock so that it does not run out. Why don't we lend him a hand?
Now let's move over to Excel to help Maximilian with his problem. As already mentioned, Maximilian is facing difficulties with knowing when to reorder his stock to his St. Gallen warehouse. We will use this graph here to explain the situation. Note as well that we have a set of given variables which Maximilian has calculated based on past experience. These entail the annual demand, cost per order, holding cost per unit, purchase cost per unit, and the optimal order quantity which Maximilian has already calculated. Now, going back to the graph, on the vertical axis, Maximilian's inventory level is depicted, and the horizontal axis shows the passage of time. As we can see, the inventory starts off at the level of the optimal order quantity, but then falls gradually as the energy drinks are being sold. We also observe at the bottom of the graph that the inventory level ultimately reaches 0. At that point, Maximilian can no longer fulfill his customers' demands until new stock arrives. This can be detrimental to a company as it results in lost sales, lost profit, dissatisfied customers, and a loss in market share. And then what we also see is Maximilian will reorder, and this process is then done again and again. Now, in practice, suppliers always need a certain amount of time to process orders and to then actually deliver them. To account for the delivery time needed to replenish his stock, Maximilian would then have to reorder well before his inventory level depletes to 0. The crucial question then is, how does Maximilian work out when he needs to reorder stock? In order to answer this question, we make use of the reorder point. The reorder point is the inventory level that triggers the next order, represented on the graph, as you can see, we have already put it in, by this red dot. There are 2 factors determining the reorder point. The first is lead time. Lead time is measured in business days and can be defined as the time elapsed from the placement of an order by the customer until the reception of the good in the inventory. As mentioned before, this is determined by the time it takes our supplier to process our order and deliver the goods. Maximilian knows from experience that his lead time is 5 days, as we can see here. The second factor is the demand per business day, or in this case, the number of drinks that the students would require on a daily basis. Now that Maximilian knows both factors, the reorder point can be calculated. The formula corresponds to the reorder point equals lead time multiplied by the demand per business day. So as we can see, it corresponds quite clearly to the demand in inventory during lead time. Therefore, Maximilian is able to reorder stock well before inventory is empty so that he can satisfy the demand encountered during lead time with the remaining stock in the inventory. Now let's compute the reorder point for Maximilian. Firstly, we compute the demand per business day. This can be done easily by taking the annual demand and dividing it by the number of business days in a year. The demand per business day, in this case, is 10 units, so 10 energy drinks then. Once we have this, we can compute the reorder point to know when to place the next order. Lead time multiplied by the demand per business day. And this means that Maximilian has to reorder stock as soon as his inventory level hits 50 units of energy drinks to prevent an out of stock situation.
Now Maximilian knows how to calculate his optimal reorder point. But being a tech-savvy entrepreneur, Maximilian conducts some research on the newest ways that allow companies to shorten their lead times. He finds a very interesting article on 5 new trends in his favourite magazine, Bloomberg. The first trend is a high-performance barcode label printer, which makes this time-consuming simple task more efficient. Indeed, they have large paper capacities, operate at high speed, and have a longer service life. The second is mobile material handling robots. They are able to move through a warehouse and carry products around autonomously, quickly, precisely, and can keep working for 24 hours a day. This can significantly shorten lead time. Thirdly, the utilization of drones to deliver ingredients and cans used as packaging for his energy drinks directly to Maximilian's manufacturing warehouse can also reduce lead time. Delivery with the aid of drones helps to significantly reduce production lead time, as they are able to avoid traffic congestion and have the ability to access remote places easily. Fourth, fitting chips on inventory items can also be used to shorten lead time, as this allows the inventory to be tied into a warehouse management system. These chips can interact with each other without human intervention and allow items to be located and sorted quickly and effortlessly. Finally, automating your inventory management with software will help to avoid the hassle of manual data entry, aid in optimizing supply chain management, and also help to better manage working capital. This, in turn, results in shortened lead times. Maximilian now knows when to place the next order to prevent an out-of-stock situation. Thanks for helping him out.